If you are someone who has, thank you, Spirit. If you are someone who has, I'm going to trust it. I'm going to trust it. Spirit was giving me a message, and in that message, in that work through, in that realization, in that process, I heard that it wasn't just for me, and that I needed to share it, and that more than me needed to hear it. So you had a chance to put it down. You didn't realize that was what was being offered to you, because at the time you were too busy seeking the validation outside of yourself to realize that that was what was being offered to you, was a chance to put down what wasn't meant for you. Instead, you looked at it as a test, something that was testing your ability to truly stay committed. The problem is the commitment that you thought you were being tested on, you were. But it wasn't commitment to him or her or the job, whatever it is. It wasn't that commitment. It was the commitment that was being tested, was the commitment to yourself. Because from your first breath to your last breath, the only person that's going to be there, guaranteed, that the only guarantee you have in this life, from your first breath to your last breath, you will be there. You will be there at both. That is the only guarantee you have in life. You have no guarantee that you're going to get more than 2 breaths. One that brings you in and one that takes you out. And you know that you're going to be at both. So why, knowing that, would you put so much energy into how other people perceive you outside of yourself? Why? Why? And part of me is saying this to people that need to hear that right now, that are actively in that awareness and wakening up of that reality, and a select other group that I am talking to. I speak to you now. You're the group. You already know. You already did it. You're already sitting there integrating every day a new part of that image that they showed to you, and you know when they showed it to you, that was between you and Spirit. And every day you start to see more and more of it unfolding in real time. There was just this crash that, if you didn't look, it was something that was really hard for me to share, but I was literally in a really low moment where I knew I wouldn't go there. But I still had to talk myself out of that exact same space. And the only reason I knew that I wouldn't go there is because my father made that choice at a very crucial point in my life. That taught me that lesson very early. But it also taught me that, unlike the people around me, I have a different process with grief. So my process is kind of like starting at the joy and keeping that alive, which a lot more. That's a lot more. I love seeing that more in the world. But okay, getting off topic. You guys, you already are doing it. You've integrated. And when I say integrating, I mean There was this moment where I had to pause because I wanted to say something else, and then I was stopped and silenced. And then this simple hello from the other side in my mind. And I was like, holy shit, that's right. Hello from the other side. Hello. Hello to the part of me that saw this as an impossibility. Hello to the version of me that struggled with humility, that struggled with all of it. Programming, deprogramming, deconditioning, grooming, de-grooming. I've seen into some of the worst parts of humanity in this life and in others. But guys, I think that if you're someone that this has resonated with, the real point that was being made to me that gratitude, that practice of gratitude, and in that practice of gratitude you learn to harness the feeling of gratitude, what it feels in your body and how that feels when it really is gratitude, and you channel that feeling outward to the spirit gods, goddesses, ancestors, hell, demons, angels, fae, all of them, every entity, every dimensional being, everything. When you show that gratitude, that feeling of gratitude, that's what I just felt. That's the message coming back in folds, is thank you from them. Thank you to you. Thank you for recognizing and using your discernment, recognizing the wave that is group 7, recognizing that and showing up in that authentically. And I know I've seen the wave happen where there was a wave of engagement, and then that engagement's quickly turned to those same ones that jumped in an engagement. They were starting to post videos for the first time in years. Seems like they took the same type of break from the internet, like they had tried it before, and it just never really took off. And with what's going on with the planets recently, September was jet fuel. The energy and the cosmos was creating this buildup of jet fuel underneath those that were protected during this time, because we are in a time period right now with Aquarius where those who have a developed practice, a practice of discernment, a practice of doing the hard work and figuring out how things are inside of yourself, creating those hardline boundaries, understanding and being able to maneuver within and outside of that. If I explain that in a good way, holy shit. If I did not, maybe I'll get it on my next trick. But it's that. It's the water drips, and that's it. Thank you, Spirit. We've learned and let ourselves learn where others were, they met shame and they buried it. They met guilt and they buried that too. You know them. I know them. They're in all of our lives. They're everywhere. They're the ones that are able to stay asleep because they allow themselves to keep burying the stuff they don't like. By the way, that's how we got into this mess. And proportionally, it's because of people that look like me and wives that look like me that didn't set the proper boundaries. By the way, that is the divine feminine's job. One of them, setting the boundary, telling them where the perimeter lies. Then the masculine goes to the perimeter and it holds that. No matter what happens, whatever tries to cross that line, that masculine stops it every time. That's the divine. The problem is, there was this false masculine that arose. This distorted, twisted version. And when that rose, it pushed the divine feminine into a corner. And it birthed this reality through forceful means with the divine feminine, creating a silenced feminine, a chained feminine, a boot on the throat feminine. The problem is right now, those chains all just quietly, silently, while everyone else was distracted with the new moon, all those chains, they were picked by little sprites and gnomes and mice, rodents, magical beings and non-magical beings, divine entities and elementals, the fae and the higher dimensionals. I don't talk about the Galactic Federation. They're screaming at me right now, but I don't talk to them because, again, I do not align with organized crime. And creating that kind of hierarchy and a higher dimension is a crime. Just because I'm not there doesn't mean it isn't. We're all gonna be okay. There's so many expression of self out there right now, and it's shining so much joy and happiness to the world, and educating and giving perspective, standing firm in the shadows and saying we see them. We're not gonna deny them. We're gonna protect against them. We're gonna prepare. We're gonna understand. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna rise above it. We're in it. This beautiful ride that we are in. It's time. There's a reason. There's a reason. That's not what I was going to say. There is a reason. There's a reason for what, Spirit? This day, this time, the strength that you have. There's a reason you have that strength. Damn right, Spirit. There's a reason you have that strength, and you know that. You know that. There's a reason you have that strength. There's a reason you learned your strength so early in life. There's a reason